Welcome to the Scientific Investor channel. Cryptocurrencies in red. Last 24 hours, as we can see, most of them are in red. The top 10, the big cap altcoins and Bitcoin are in red, whereas some of the other coins like Tezos, Chainlink, Cosmos, they are in green a bit. When we look at the 70s, we can see like Cosmos, Tezos, they are maintaining in green. In the top 10, we can see that only Bitcoin SB is maintaining the green position. Now, for our favorite cryptocurrency, XRP, we'll look at the chart, like what it has been doing after it just touched the bottom of this channel. And then we'll go through Twitter. We have some interesting Twitter posts from governmental side, like showing Christine Lagarde and others. Then we'll look at news articles related to XRP, BTC, and Ethereum. We have news from executives of the company Ripple showcasing that the anti-crypto sentiments in many countries will not actually last for long. They will change their mentality. So first, looking at the chart, as we can see that after the bottom, it's starting to bounce a bit. Now this is making higher lows here. Now we have to get a confirmation for this after the price makes a higher low compared to this price point. But at present, we have overhead resistance. Say the previous support was this area, which is now acting as a resistance. So if we manage to break above, then that's a positive sign. Now this is XRP on 4 hour using moving averages like 20, 50, 100 and 200. So in this particular one, we can see that the price is above the 20-day moving average in 4 hour chart, and that is currently acting as a support. So if we move into an hourly chart, we can see that the price is above most of the moving average. Just the 200-day moving average is acting as a resistance now. So if we are able to manage a pump back here, then yes, we can maintain a trend possibly like this. Say the price may come around 0.2 again and then bounce back above the 200-day moving average on a hourly chart. So as we can see that the trend is now narrowing down like a rising wedge. So yeah, the chances are that the price can actually come below that. But if we are in a bullish stance, then yeah, if you're looking to buy, you can buy the breakout here or a retest of that break. Now if we actually look the same XRP to BTC, because currently we just checked XRP to USD, right? So looking at XRP BTC, it's a bit more positive than XRP USD. So as we can see here, was bottoming out here and starting a new up run, then a bit of correction, now consolidating in that area. So if the price manages to come up high above this moving average, then that's a positive sign. But until then, it's a bit bearish. As you can see, the trend forming here in 4 hour chart is bearish. We are below the moving averages and we are making a new trend to the lower side. But as we checked in USD chart, the wedge was actually closing to the upside. That was a rising wedge and having a chances that the price may come down, whereas this one is a descending wedge in which you have higher chance that the probability is higher that the price may come above this. So that's actually a positive sign those who trade XRP BTC. Now we'll actually see BTC in hourly chart. So BTC in an hourly is actually looking great. Say we are above all the moving averages. We are getting positive cross. Say the 20 crossed the 50 and 100 and 200 on an hourly chart. That's actually a bullish sign. We are getting higher lows here. So that's actually a really bullish for BTC for those who trade in short term. That's an hourly chart. Now looking at a 4 hour chart for BTC, we can see the trend is forming here, but currently the price hasn't yet managed to break above the 100 and 200-day moving average. But there is gonna be a cross soon. If we get say a bit of bounce from here, the 20-day moving average will be crossing the 50-day moving average in 4 hour chart. That's actually a positive side. Now if we zoom out a bit and look at longer time frame chart, say daily chart. Now this log scale daily chart, in which if we try to connect the previous support area and the resistance at the top, we may see that if the price is bouncing from here, then yeah, the price may not be directly going towards 8,800 or 9,000. It may consolidate a bit in the mid area, say around 8,000, and then bounce up high. But there are instances when the price actually retested the low again before bouncing back up high. As you can see, it just bounced back from 7,300 around 10,000 in just 2-3 days. So it's Bitcoin, right? Anything can happen, and when the price pushes up high, it goes rapidly. So looking the long term, we can see that the MACD is gonna have a positive cross here. So as you guys can see, whenever there is a positive cross and someone is a buyer, yeah, sometime you'll have to wait a couple of days more to get that push up high. Still you get that, right? So see, someone who bought in here and waited a bit, say got a pump up here, and even when we see the price like this as a minute rise, if we check the percentage of rise, you can see that it's 30% rise in just a week, right? So that's really good compared to the traditional market where, you know, the banks give you a 4% interest, 5% interest rate per year. So this is much better than that from those who are looking from a traditional market perspective. But those who are from crypto industry will be looking at humongous gains, right? Like say, but it will come with time for those who wait. So this is 329% gain in BTC from those who waited from late 2018 till July of 2019. So that's not too long, right? Just 6-7 months and 329% of gain. Now that's a BTC. Now we'll look at the chart of Ether to USD, and then we'll move on to check news articles and Twitter updates. So here we can see almost a similar pattern to that of XRP, like it is at the bottom of the support level. Now, as we all know, Ether is considered to be the king of altcoin by most of the people. At least I have a different perspective. I believe that there will be a time in which XRP will start to act as a king, start like acting as a one soon. It won't take much time. But as of now, most of the people think Ether is the king of altcoin. So if this managed to go up, then there can be momentum in other altcoins as well. Now, as we can see here, this resistance is not broken yet. As we can see, previously was a support here in this particular area, and it was a resistance in this area. So if the price is coming back above this, then it is a good sign. But what we have to consider here is the overhead resistance is still there. The moving averages are above that and within that trading range, which makes it a bit difficult. But if we get proper volume, then we may move up high. Now, similar to that of BTC, we can see a positive cross gonna come here in the MACD, which is almost a buy signal. Now, when we are at the top, that's not the case, right? After a correction, that's the case. See, this is after a correction around the bottom. If someone who bought around here and waited a bit more, he got that profit. Now, yes, he would have got a even more opportunity to buy at lower price if he were to time it perfectly. But you know, this is financial market, human psychology mixed with the money, so that's difficult to do. So that's 100% gain for those who actually pick the bottom. But it's really hard to pick the bottom. So say you came up here and you ended up taking your profit somewhere here, not at the exact top, but somewhere here at the daily close. Still you made 33%. Say in a week, that's not a bad thing to do, right? So that's based on the positive MACD cross, the cross to the upside. Now the same thing is actually going to happen here, and you can see there will be something because we have already corrected a bit. Say from this peak around 360, the price corrected around 63%. Now that's really good, right? You look to buy assets which are undervalued, or it has already corrected 50-60% from its highs. Now if you look at the same altcoins from the long run, you can see that from the all-time high, it's already corrected around 90%, I believe. I'll confirm that. Yeah, around 95%, and it just bounced a bit. Now that bounce is not that small, it's still good gain. See, those who end up buying here got around 300%, 320% in profit. Now yes, I believe this is the time to come back in, because the price has already corrected around 60%. Now it may be the time that it flushed out some of the weak hands here after consolidating in that particular range. They kicked out some of the retail investors, and then it's moving up high, because say the price consolidated here near the moving averages, then it went even below and even below to kick out all the weak hands, then started moving up high, right? So the same thing you can see in all the bull markets which we have experienced previously. Say if you look at here, we can see that there is a support. It broke here. Now this area is acting as a support. Now the price came below that, kicked some of the weak hands out, then slowly it started moving into the moving range area, then above the trading zone, right? Then it just blew off. The price just started from $9 and ended up around 400. So that's like too much of a profit in a short time frame. See, those who started buying after the confirmation when the price is above the moving average still managed to get 3,700% in profit just by 150 days. So if you are someone who's looking to buy crypto asset, I would say this is a good time to buy. If you are an experienced trader who's looking at a shorter time frame, then you can understand this is a support area, this is a resistance area. So if you want to buy here, you can do so and take your profit somewhere here, right? So now we'll actually look at some of the Twitter posts. This is felt interesting for me. It's from XRP Yoda, showing that now that's what you call special drawing rights. This is actually writing on a euro note, and that I'm not just kidding, but at the same time ECB is actually coming up with positive news. Say they are allowing banks to store digital assets, so that's actually a good news, right? That's a positive news. Now this is from XRP. Hey guys, made some adjustment here. So he's actually showing his chart analysis, in which he showcases the 150-day moving average, 100-day moving average, getting here the pattern which he has illustrated here is showing that there is a potential chance that we are making this bottom. That's 16. If you can see this 16, according to him, we are making a bottom. Now this was posted on 23rd. We actually made a bottom there. Now in XRP chart, as we just saw that now it's 29, right? So his post was on 23rd. So if we actually look that in that perspective, we can see that we just bottomed out on 25. We didn't manage to go above on 23rd, but we make new bottom here, a lower low. Now that's how most of them try to just pinpoint the exact bottom, but it's really hard to catch a falling knife, right? But that was a good call, if I'll say, because that was a previous support area, and most of them will be buying at the support area, right? But some of the big guys who just push the price a bit down, kicked out some of the stop losses, and then buy at even low prices. Now this is from Alien Vision. He's actually showing that the volume spikes. Now this is 28 November. You can see the spike in volume, and he's showing that you can actually see these on exchanges. Big guys buying in the background. The OTC market, they're actually buying a lot. Now this is from XRP Danny. Actually, that's me. So in this, he's actually retweeting one of a tweet from XRP Joker, which showcases that one of a politician from India, she's the minister, and you want to listen to what she's saying here. I'll just increase the volume here so that you can listen to what she's actually stating there. In that particular item, she is stating there will not be a recession anymore.
I did say that.
You have to listen to that.
Oh, it won't be a recession. Have come down, but it's not a recession yet. Oh, it won't be a recession ever.
So that's so boring, huh? That's so pathetic to hear from a finance minister who denies there is a recession currently, or who just states that there will not be a recession. Wow, that's cool, right? If you check back on history, you may understand that when this happens, there is something to be cautious. When the politicians say there won't be a recession, you should be worrying something is gonna come. If you just go into Google and type that there won't be a recession and click news, you will see a lot of politicians stating the same, just say months prior to a recession. So they are misguiding you, stating that okay, it's good, the market is still good, go into whatever way you want to invest, and then they will actually invest in the safe haven assets, so they will be safe and we will be kicked out. Anyway, now this is showing a Ripple set to lead the remittance market with XRP 2. In the long run, comparing all the digital assets, XRP is gonna survive. Now this is from Nicholas Stager, CEO of Australian remittance company Flash FX, has said that implementing ODL has allowed them to meet customer demands by providing newer payments service. Now he said, it's quoting him, it's been a long road for digital assets, but the end customer doesn't necessarily need or want to know how their transactions are being handled in the back end. They want the transparency, low cost, above all else, speed of transaction. Now, XRP can provide this when there are regulated financial institutions who are willing to take the new technology into their hands. They are adopting that, so they don't want the nostro vostro accounts and corresponding banking system to put previously they just don't want to put their money idle. The dormant capital, they don't want to do that again. Now this one is related to Bitcoin, and analyst is actually showcasing that the price of Bitcoin can actually go up to 120 in this coming cycle. So yes, it is possible. Consider the price went from 1,000 to 20,000 last time, right? So the same can happen. Still, we just started from 3,000 here, so why can't we reach 300,000? I'll say. Now that's just my perspective, right? So if you plot the previous gains and take the average gain and look at it, then you may have a different opinion, but it will be more or less in the same area, say 100,000 to 300,000. I've seen people who just are predicting around 1 million. I don't think that's stupid, but it's still possible to reach that price level. Now this is showing that Skrill adds a new feature permitting buying other altcoins with Bitcoin, while altcoin market shows mixed trends. Now Skrill is already established financial provider. Now they are actually coming into the crypto space, right? So now they are permitting buying other altcoins as well with Bitcoin, right? So first you'll have to buy your Bitcoin, then move it back into the altcoins. Now this is actually a positive news, showing that the banks in EU, see the new EU law, banks allowed to hold and sell Bitcoin as of 2020. So there are positive governments, which I'll just connect it to the first tweet of Christine Lagarde, because she is there now, right? And the positive things are happening. And as we all know, she has previously stated that it's not Bitcoin. We are not talking about Bitcoins here. So we all know she is a supporter of digital asset, and based on banks and financial institutions adoption, we know that what is coming up. So banks may keep Bitcoin safe and offer it to their customers. So the custody system from banks are coming, right? And who just advocated or predicted that previously? That's Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple, the company, right? So he stated that previously last year, stating that banks will be custodying digital assets, and that's going to happen in Europe. So if that's going to happen in Europe, automatically US will come, then the China will come. No one else want to be back, right? They don't want to be left outside the new technology. Now this is a very positive article showing that Bakht hits new all-time high volume, but analysts post cloud water on Bitcoin bulls. Like, say everyone is actually looking at a new all-time highs, but the volume, when the volume is going to the all-time highs with the total contracts of 5,671, that doesn't always means the price is gonna boom, right? Because the volume may consider both puts and calls, so that can be a positive or negative news. Now, German banks could store Bitcoin and provide crypto services soon. Now this is related to the same article which showcases that the EU banks will be doing that. What the Fed reserves balance sheet expansion means for Bitcoin. Like, they are expanding their balance sheets, and they are at so high level of debt, and they are still expanding the balance sheet. This is from Rhythm Trader, showing that Fed's balance sheet grew by over 162 billion last month. That's the largest monthly increase since October of 2008, the height of financial crisis. And they state everything is fine. This is similar to the tweet I just showed you from one of the Indian finance minister, who is showing there is no recession and there is no recession coming up. So this is the same from the US side too. So the ordinary retail investors or the common man will be thinking that the government states everything is okay, so everything should be okay, and then a financial recession comes and hits them from the back. So they are not prepared for that, right? So the politicians just want that to happen so that they can take everything and loot all the common man. Only they don't, if they are not prepared, they can't control it, right? Now, again, looking at the hourly for cryptos, it looks like a bit of green, but yeah, that's not so big. It's just a bit of green. So we actually covered almost all the news today. We'll just have to go through some. See, this one is showing that it's stolen Ethereum on move as South Korea's crypto exchange hack coincides with regulatory efforts. Now, when the regulations are coming in and trying to put things in a correct stance, the stolen items are actually moving. Now, this is actually based on Ethereum and based on the tweet from Chiachi Wu. I think I pronounced that correctly. CHIACHIH Wu. Hopefully. Now, Upbit hacker is testing Huobi Global now. You can see that. And there's another one from CC Binance. We will work with Upbit and other industry players to ensure any hacked funds that may make their way to Binance are immediately frozen. That's a positive news, right? Your funds will stay safe, or SAFU for sure. Now this is showing another one. Now this is related to Bitcoin, and in this particular one, what is that? The IRS is to narrow scope of summons on Bitcoin investors' transaction records, because in this one, a particular guy is went to the court asking that, say, he filed initially showing that crypto transaction worth of 100,000 in capital gains, but afterwards he understood that it was not of 2017, it was in 2016. So he just updated the tax return and filed it again, showing the capital gain as just $400. Now the authority is actually going in deep, so they want details in depth, and court orders to the exchange that they want to narrow the scope of summons on Bitcoin investors, because the IRS is actually running behind them. Now, this is XRP related post showing that XRP is less decentralized than BTC, ETH and other digital assets due to Ripple's involvement. Most of the people actually state Ripple is dumping coin and they are not doing the positive thing for the XRP community. Whereas what's happening in the background is the positive thing. The company is actually promoting the asset, the use cases. They are coming up with new financial institution, new partnerships, new corridors. This is making a big network, a gigantic network for the use of digital asset XRP. Now, this is not stated directly by an XRP community member. Instead, it is coming from Giant, the institutional giant Grayscale, who actually is not a XRP maximalist. They trade mostly Bitcoin. They trade other coins as well, right? So when they state that the degree of decentralization for a given network is determined related to the entire digital currency ecosystem. So when we see that, we know the digital ecosystem for XRP, Ripple has a bit there, right? Yeah, even though at the end of the day, Ripple is a big holder of XRP, but that doesn't make them the owner of XRP, right? We do some, others do have some, now some banks, financial institutions do the same. So XRP is more decentralized. Now this one is from an executive of Ripple showing that anti-crypto stance of different markets will be changing soon. It won't last. And as I just pointed about the country India, they are actually like similar to that of China. They state they are high on blockchain but not on cryptocurrency, but soon it will change. They will come up with a different opinion. They'll change their regulations, statutes, so everything is gonna come up, but it may take a bit of time, because considering China or India is not a country who does things quickly. The politicians are a bit slow, not that highly educated and all. If you check the educational background of all the ministers, you will understand what I'm stating. Anyway, so we're gonna close this video here. I hope you guys like the content I'm providing on a daily basis. So if you guys like to support the channel, please do click the subscribe button and like the video. I'll meet you guys on my next video. Bye for now.